Dear students, a warm welcome to the last session of this chapter. In the previous sessions, I have discussed the theory part related to this chapter, motion in straight line. In this session, I am going to discuss the numerical problems of different types on this chapter. The methods or steps to be followed while solving the numerical problems of 5 marks or sometimes 2 marks are as follows. Firstly, you have to read the question word by word and then copy the data or values, numbers with the relevant symbol, with proper symbol given in the question. Note down those values in the notebook or in the answer paper in the exam. Then think about the formulae which can be used to solve these questions, for which the quantity you have to find out. Normally for 5 marks question, there will be 2 quantities you are supposed to solve usually. Firstly, you have to write the relevant formula connecting the quantities given and the quantity required. Sometimes the second part of the problem is continuation of the first part, means you are supposed to use the value obtained in the first part in the second part. Then you have to take care, because even if you are doing properly in the second part, if first part is wrong, then you are not going to get marks. And most important thing in this problem solving method is writing the formula firstly is very important. Once you copy all the data or values given in the question, then write the formula compulsorily. Without writing the formula, even if you get the answer in 1 or 2 steps, you don't get any marks. In theory exams, this writing the formula and at the end of solving, putting the unit, proper unit is very much needed. Otherwise, you lose partial marks. One mark will be lost or deducted for the formula and unit part each. And now solving the problems, you have to take too much care, and it is very important for theory exams, because there will be 15 marks in the midterm exam and annual exam papers. 3 numerical problems will be given at the end of the question paper, where out of 5 problems you are supposed to solve 3 problems. Each problem carries 5 marks, hence it will be totally 15 marks. So it is most important and purely mathematical solving. It is using the physics data given, using the formula steps, all that you have to do systematically here. Unless you follow the practice and systematic way, you can't solve these problems very easily. Once you get the idea or the method of solving the problems, then it becomes very easy for you to solve. In the beginning, some 2-3 problems in any chapter you may find it difficult, and first try to understand the question, what exactly the question seeks or you are supposed to get. Okay, then you can go for solving, writing the relevant formula, substitution, simplification, and at the end put a proper unit. So now I go to the problem here, number 3, because first 2 problems I have discussed in the last 5th session. Okay, so here the problem number 3 is like this. A car starts from rest and accelerates uniformly at a rate of 2 meter per second square for 10 seconds. It then maintains a constant velocity for 20 seconds. The brakes are then applied and the car is uniformly retarded, comes to rest in 5 seconds. Draw the velocity time graph for the motion, and from the graph find the following. One is maximum velocity, second one retardation in last 5 seconds, total distance travelled, and the average velocity. So in this problem, firstly, a car starts from rest. So whenever any object starts from rest, it may be freely falling body dropped from certain height, or a car starts from rest. So initial velocity is 0. Note down that values, initial velocity is 0, then time is given 10 seconds and uniformly accelerated at the rate. So it is given accelerated, means acceleration A equal to plus 2 meter per second square. Suppose if the question is uniformly retarded, then you are supposed to take acceleration as negative. Here it is positive because it is accelerated. Okay, so first write the given data. Initial velocity v naught. Okay, so initial velocity v naught equal to 0. Okay, because it starts from rest. Then acceleration is given in this question. Acceleration a, symbol is a, equal to 2 meter per second square. Then for 10 seconds it is accelerated, so we can write time interval or time duration is 10 seconds. Next, we have to find out maximum velocity. To plot the velocity time graph, we have to find out the maximum velocity to which the car reaches. Okay, so firstly we have to find out final velocity, means after 10 seconds or at the end of 10 seconds what is its velocity. So in a time 10 seconds what velocity it gains, the car gains, we have to find out. So final velocity v. Okay, so final velocity or velocity after final velocity or velocity after 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, formula for that you have to write compulsorily v equal to v naught plus at, and write the symbols separately. Don't join a and t because they are symbols, not the words. So now substitution of the values: 0 plus a, acceleration is 2, then time is 10. So we get 0 plus 20, or it is 20 meter per second. So velocity of the car after 10 seconds is 20 meter per second. Then it maintains a constant velocity, means it is running at the same velocity without increase or decrease in the velocity for 20 seconds. Okay, then lastly 5 seconds it is retarded. Okay, so retardation takes place. So firstly what you have to draw? Velocity time graph. See, in the velocity time graph you have to take velocity along y axis and time along x axis. So this is the time axis here. Okay, time t in seconds, and here you see first 10 seconds, then 20 seconds, then 5 seconds. Total duration becomes 35 seconds. So you can see it is a multiple of 5 seconds. So choose the scale. 1 unit is 5 seconds. Okay, then 2, 10, like that we can write 15, 20, 25, 30, and lastly 35. Okay, so that much you can write here, 35 seconds. Okay, then along y axis we have to mark the velocity value. So maximum velocity here 20, because after 10 seconds it maintains the constant velocity of 20 meter per second. So take the unit along y axis as 10 and 20. Okay, so now we have to plot the graph. So after 10 seconds, initially at rest, so first point in the graph is origin here 0 0, then second point after 10 seconds, means here x value, that is time axis value 10 seconds and y axis value 20 meter per second. So where that point you get. Okay, so this is the point. Now what you have to draw is a line from origin to this point, then constant velocity for another 20 seconds. So 10 to 30 seconds constant velocity, like this. Okay, then next last 5 seconds it is retarded, okay, brought to rest by applying brakes. So this is the graph for the last 5 seconds. So this is the velocity time graph for the journey of car, and here in this graph you have to find out maximum velocity. So we can see in the figure maximum value of velocity is 20 meter per second, which is the straight line here, and from this 10 seconds to 30 seconds it is moving uniformly with the velocity 20 meter per second. So maximum velocity is 20 meter per second. So the answer for first question, okay, maximum velocity of the car v equal to 20 meter per second. Okay, so this is the first answer. Then retardation in last 5 seconds we have to find out. Retardation, the second part calculation. So retardation from the graph, VT graph, we have studied in the previous sessions. We can find out the acceleration from VT graph by finding the slope of the VT graph. Here for last 5 seconds, slope of this line you have to get. Slope means change in y quantity divided by change in x quantity. Here change in y quantity is velocity. Okay, so this is the velocity along y axis and time along x axis. So change in y quantity is here delta v. Okay, so this is the change in, okay, so this is the delta v, and change in time is this 5 seconds. Okay, so we can find out now retardation. Firstly we have to calculate acceleration. Okay, acceleration of the car in last 5 seconds. Acceleration in last 5 seconds. Okay, so that is equal to A equal to slope of VT graph in the last 5 seconds. Okay, slope of VT graph in the last 5 seconds. So that is A equal to slope of VT graph means I said change in y value, that is change in velocity along y axis, and change in time divided by change in time. So that is change in velocity is say final velocity is 0. It is stopped at the end. It is stopped, brought to rest means it is completely stopped. So velocity will be 0. So here 0, and at this point velocity 20. So 0 minus 20 divided by change in time. Finally 35 seconds here, 30 seconds. So 35 minus 30. So that means minus 20 upon 5. That is minus 4 meter per second square. Okay, so this is the acceleration of the car. Now what we have to get is retardation. In the question they asked retardation. Therefore retardation of the car in last 5 seconds is magnitude of this is 4 meter per second square. So this is the retardation of the car in last 5 seconds. Now we have to find out total distance from the VT graph. So total distance from VT graph, I have studied in the significance of VT graph, that is equal to area under VT graph. Total distance travelled by the car is area under VT graph. Okay, so total distance equal to area under VT graph. Area under VT graph. So here in the figure, VT graph is a trapezium. Why? It is a, see, this base 0 to 35 second and this line are parallel. So one pair of opposite sides are parallel, hence it is a trapezium. So area of trapezium, we have studied, it is half into sum of parallel sides and multiplied by perpendicular distance. So parallel sides means from here to here, base here to here, one side will get, that is 35. Okay, here to here, and here this side is see 10 seconds to 30 seconds, so it is 20. Okay, then the height here or perpendicular distance between the two parallel sides is 20. Okay, so then we can get the area under VT graph equal to area of trapezium. Okay, so area of trapezium, that is equal to half into sum of parallel sides. So 0 to 35 it is 35 and 10 to 30 is 20. So 20 and 35. So 35 plus 20, okay, into height, that is 20. Now simplification you have to do. So you can use calculator if necessary. So 2 ones are 2 tens are. Okay, so 35 plus 20 is 55. 55 multiplied by 10. So that is 550 meter. 550 meter is the total distance travelled by the car in 35 seconds. So this is the number 3 what we need. And last calculation is average velocity of the car during its journey. So fourth calculation, average velocity. Average velocity V bar equal to total distance travelled by total time taken. Total distance travelled is 550 meter. Okay, so we can write as a total distance. So in a motion in a straight line, when the particle goes or car goes in a straight line continuously, distance travelled and displacement will be the same. So total distance or total displacement divided by total time. So substituting the values here, 550 meter divided by time duration is 35 seconds. Now you can use calculator. 550, simple calculators are allowed in few classes, in college classes also, and in the exam also. You are not supposed to use scientific calculator, but you can use only simple calculator. Now 550 divided by 35, you can divide it using calculator, I said. So you get the number 15.71. okay, that is the velocity, average velocity of the car during entire journey of its motion. Okay, so that's all. Now I will move to the next problem. Question number 4. A stone is thrown up with a velocity of 49 meter per second. Calculate the maximum height to which the stone reaches and the time taken to attain that height. So that means a stone is thrown, projected vertically upward with a velocity 49 meter per second. So at this point from the ground, the stone is projected like this. Okay, so it is thrown like this with the velocity, initial velocity of projection is given. At this point it is how much? Okay, how much is the velocity given? 49 meter per second, and it is to be taken 49 plus 49 because it is a projection is upward. Throwing upward means positive will take velocity, initial velocity. Now at the highest point, at this point it stops because see, as the stone is thrown upward, it is under the influence of gravitational force. So acceleration will be downward. So continuously the velocity of the stone decreases because it is accelerating downward. Okay, so velocity decreases, and finally at the highest point the stone stops for a moment and starts falling downward. So at the highest point its velocity, we can call it as final velocity while upward motion, is 0 at this point, and we have to get the height to which it raises also and time taken also. So initial position I will take y naught equal to 0 here. For vertical motion we use the equation in terms of y and y naught, whereas in horizontal motion we have used the equation x and x naught in the derivation also. So final position y equal to say h. This is the height to which the stone reaches. Okay, so this is the height to which, maximum height to which the stone reaches. So here the final position I will take it as h, y equal to h, and initial position y naught equal to 0. Okay, so this is the idea or the diagram representing its motion, and it falls downward obviously. Now what you have to write is, first given data we have to copy. So initial velocity, while projecting the velocity is initial velocity. Okay, initial velocity v naught equal to 49 meter per second. Okay, sometimes the velocity may not be given in meter per second, instead they may give in kilometer per hour. Then you have to multiply 5 by 18 to get in meter per second. So then next g value is given. So given g value 9.8 meter per second square. Usually in the problems they will provide the data g value 9.8 meter per second square, or they may give sometimes 10 meter per second square. So whatever given in the question, you are supposed to use the same value. Even if it is given 10, you cannot use 9.8. If it is given 10 meter per second square, you have to use 10 meter per second square, or you have to substitute in the same in the problems. Now okay, acceleration is how much? If g value is this much, acceleration is to be taken a, that is minus g. So a equal to minus 9.8 meter per second square. So these are the numbers. Now, and we know one more data, that is at the highest point. At the highest point the final velocity is 0. Okay, so velocity at highest point, at the highest point or maximum height, highest point or maximum height is 0. It stops momentarily and it falls downward. So at the highest point its velocity is 0 and its position. So initial position is ground. So we take the reference as 0. Initial position y naught equal to 0, and final position y equal to h, and we have to find out that h. Fine. Now the formula connecting this, we have to find out final position as well as the time taken to achieve that height, time taken to raise up. Now here you see the data given, v naught, acceleration v, and h, y naught. So connecting this, there is no time in this calculation. So first and second equations of motion, we have seen there is a time term. We don't know the time, we have to find out the time. So we don't know time and we don't know y means we cannot use the first equation or second equation. So you have to use the last third equation of motion for vertical journey, vertical motion of the particle. So using the equation of motion, v square equal to v naught square plus 2a y minus y naught. So we have to use this equation because we are not provided the time. Time is not given in the question, we are supposed to find out. Hence this equation only gives you the value of y or h. Substituting the values, 0 square, okay, equal to v naught square, initial velocity 49 square plus 2a, acceleration is minus 9.8 meter per second square, into y, final position is this, that is h. So h minus 0. Now it is 0 equal to, okay, we can square the 49, you can write 2401 or you can keep it is same, 49 square. Then it is, see, h minus 0 is h. So 2 into minus 2 into 9.8 into h. And this is negative term. So bringing into the LHS, so it is plus. So 2 into 9.8 into h equal to 49 square. Now I have to find out the value of h. So h equal to 49 square. I write 49 into 49. Okay, divided by 2 into 9.8. So you can use the calculator to get 49 square. 49 into 49 you can do, or 49 into equal also gives you square of 49. So you get 2401. Then divided by 19.6. So you can get the answer. So otherwise you can cancel here, the multiples are there. 49 is a multiple of 9.8. So 49 divided by 9.8 is 5 exactly. 49 into 5, 245, divided by 2, it comes 122.5 meter. That means the stone reaches to a maximum height of this much when thrown upward with a velocity of 49 meter per second. And next calculation is time calculation. So how much time it will take to reach that height? So time calculation, you can see there is a first equation of motion and second equation of motion. So v naught a t, first equation, so that is a better, easier one. So to get the time calculation, we can use using v equal to v naught plus a t, okay, or you can use instead of a as minus g directly. So v naught minus gt also can be used. So now substitute the values. V is the final velocity at the highest point is 0 because it stops at the highest point. V naught is 49, okay, minus a is minus 9.8. So it is minus 9.8 into t. Now again you see minus term is there in the second part. Bringing into LHS, 9.8 t equal to 49. So t equal to 49 divided by 9.8. That when you calculate using calculator or direct division also you can do. That is 5 seconds. So that means it will take 5 seconds to reach to the highest point. Remember, if it takes 5 seconds to go up, that is time of ascent, and time of descent also it will be 5 seconds, and total time for the journey will be 10 seconds. So here it is only time taken to attain the height, that is 5 seconds, and to maximum height of 122.5 meter it reaches. This is about problem number 4. Now I move on to next problem, that is problem number 5. A player throws a ball upwards with an initial speed of 29.4 meter per second. Take g equal to 9.8 meter per second square. What is the direction of acceleration during the upward motion of the ball? So direction of acceleration, whenever you throw the ball upward or when you leave the ball or drop a ball from certain height, acceleration is always downward towards the center of earth. So first answer A. Acceleration, direction of acceleration is always downward, okay. Acceleration of the ball is directed towards the center of earth. Acceleration is vertically downward. And the answer for the second question, what are the velocity and acceleration of the ball at the highest point of its motion. So whenever you throw a ball like this and it reaches the highest point, at the highest point velocity will be 0. We know that velocity will be 0. Here initial velocity is 29.4 meter per second, that is given in the question while projecting from the ground, and acceleration will be always same, it is constant, uniform. Acceleration due to gravity is uniform. Velocity at highest point or at the maximum height, at the highest point it is asked, highest point is 0, v equal to 0, and acceleration always, not only at the highest point while throwing also, while it is coming down also. So acceleration value is a equal to minus g, that is minus 9.8 meter per second square. Okay, so this is the number. Then next number 3, see, to what height does the ball raise? So height to which it raises they asked. So here the final position y equal to h, I have to find out. So the height I will take like h in the previous problem. So using the equation, using v square equal to v naught square plus 2a times y minus y naught. Okay, so this equation is the third equation of motion derived, but it is for vertical motion, we have to use the symbols y. Okay, so now 0 equal to 0 square, it is 0 it is. So velocity of projection is 29.4 square plus 2a is minus 9.8. Okay, then y minus y naught, final position y is h and initial position is 0. So the displacement y minus y naught is directly taken as h. So then it becomes, see, 0 equal to 29.4 square, let it be like that only, or you can use calculator and make a square of it. Then minus this is 2 into 9.8 into h minus 0 is h. Now bring into LHS, so minus becomes plus. So 2 into 9.8 h equal to 29.4 square. So therefore the height h equal to 29.4 into 29.4, because there is a square, square means multiplying same twice, divided by 2 into 9.8. Okay, so now simplification, 9.8 ones are, and this will be 3 times. Okay, then 29.4 into 3 divided by 2, yeah, 88.2 divided by 2, it is equal to 44.1 meter. So this, to this height the ball ball raises. And also after how long does the ball return to the player's hand? Means after the player throws from this point, it goes to the highest point and returns to his hand. So time of ascent and time of descent, total time you have to calculate here. So that is first let us find out the time of ascent. So for that the equation we can use is, okay, so this is the answer for C, and answer for D last, total time required actually. So v equal to v naught plus at, and now substitution, v equal to 0, v naught is 29.4 minus 9.8 t. So bringing minus 9.8, again 9.8 t equal to 29.4. So that is t equal to 29.4 divided by 9.8. So that is 3 seconds. That means the ball takes 3 seconds to reach to the maximum height. So therefore total time equal to t equal to 2t, time of ascent plus time of descent, that is 2 into 3, that is 6 seconds. So that means the ball takes 6 seconds to reach back to the player's hand. So this is all about this problem. Now I will move to the next problem, number 6. A ball is thrown vertically upwards with a velocity 20 meter per second from the top of a multi-story building. The height of the point from where the ball is thrown is 45 meter from the ground. Questions are like this: how high will the ball raise with respect to ground, and next how long will it be before the ball hits the ground? So in this problem it is not thrown from the ground, remember, it is thrown from a height of 45 meter from a multi-story building. So let me put a diagram for this. So here is the multi-story building. So this is the ground. Okay, so this is the multi-story building like this. So from this point it is thrown upward like this, and it goes to certain height, then it falls downward to reach the ground. So from this point it is projected, its initial position I will take y0 is equal to height of the building, or height is 45 meter, it is given in the question. So y0 is 45 meter. And next this point when it reaches to the ground, so we have to find out total time, also how much height. Okay, so final position at this highest point I will take as y. At the highest point it stops for a moment, I discussed in the previous questions. So v equal to 0 at this point. At the highest point of its journey it stops, so v equal to 0. Then initial velocity is given with 20 meter per second it is thrown. So v0 equal to 20 meter per second. Okay, so v equal to 0 at the highest point. We have to find out what height it reaches. Fine. See the data given again. Acceleration, here you have to take a g value 10 meter per second square. So in the problem number 6, given data, initial velocity v0 equal to 20 meter per second, and at the highest point final velocity or velocity at highest point, I say v equal to 0. Okay, acceleration, in this question acceleration is given, g value is given 10, so acceleration is taken minus g, so that is minus 10 meter per second square. Then initial position from where this ball is thrown, initial position to be taken equal to y0 equal to 45 meter, and the final position we have to get. So final position y equal to how much? The equation, see the data here again, v0 v a y0 y. Again the last equation of motion, because here also time is not given in the question. So using the equation v square equal to v0 square plus 2a into displacement is y minus y0. Substituting here, final point of velocity 0 and it is thrown at a speed velocity 20 meter per second. So 20 square plus 2 into a. Acceleration here take minus 10. Then displacement y minus y0. We don't know the value of y. We have to find out. y0 is 45. Okay, 45. Now simplification is there. So that is 0 equal to 20 square is 400. Okay, 400 plus minus 2 into 20. 2 into 10 is 20. So 20 times y minus 45. So now bringing to the LHS. So it becomes 20 times y minus 45 equal to 400. We have to get the value of y. So take 20 to the other side. So y minus 45 equal to 400 divided by 20. 0 0 cancel. So 40 by 2 is 20. So now finally the height, to the maximum height it reaches, y equal to minus 45 taking into that side is 45 plus 20. So that is y equal to 65 meter. That means the ball reaches to a maximum height of 65 meter with respect to ground. So y equal to 65 meter from ground it is. Okay, from the top of the building it is just 20 only. From here it goes up 20 meter, but with respect to ground it is 65 meter. Now we have to take how long will it be before hitting the ground, means how much time is required for the ball to reach the ground. So here in this problem the value is given. The second part, time we have to calculate, and we don't know the final velocity when the ball reaches the ground. So when we don't know final velocity when the ball reaches the ground, and also we don't know time, so first equation will not work. It will not work. You cannot find out using the first equation. Then third equation, there is no time term. So then we have to use the second equation of motion. So using that equation we can solve. That is the part B. That is Okay, so this is the part A and this is the part B. Okay, now part B is using the equation y minus y naught also we can write, or y equal to y naught plus v naught t plus half at square, half at square. This is the formula. Substituting the values, y final position. So when it returns to the ground, final position is at this ground, final position is 0. So entire journey I am taking. Okay, final position is 0 when it is when it reaches the ground. So 0 equal to, from where it is thrown, y naught is initial position 45. So okay, 45 plus velocity with which it is thrown is 20 meter per second upward. So plus 20 I will take. So 20 is plus value here, t minus plus half times a, value of acceleration in the question we have to take minus 10. Okay, so minus 10 then into t square. Okay, t square. Now simplification is there. 0 equal to 45 plus 20t. Okay, and 10 by 2 is 5, so minus 5t square. Now it is a quadratic equation. It is a quadratic equation. We can make it a simpler form. So bring everything into the LHS. It becomes like this now. Okay, so it becomes 5t square. When terms are in the RHS, when you bring into LHS, all the terms should change sign. So 5t square, and this 20t becomes minus 20t, and plus 45 becomes minus 45 equal to 0. Okay, all the terms shifted to LHS. Sign must change. Now there is a 5 which is common multiple in all term. So dividing throughout by 5. So dividing by 5. So what do we get? So t square, next equation we get t square minus 20 by 5 is 4, 4t. Then 45 by 5, 45 by 5 is 9. So that is equal to 0. Now this is the quadratic equation in time t. We have to solve this equation. Two ways you can solve. One is factorization. Another one is by using the quadratic equation formula, which you studied already. Both the ways you solved in earlier classes. Now here just observe the numbers. Minus 9 as product you have to get, and sum is minus 4. So 9 factors are 1, 3, 9. Only those 3 are there. Okay, so 1, 3, 9. So 1 into 9 doesn't work, and 3 into 3 also doesn't work. So it is better to go for quadratic equation formula. So quadratic equation formula is like this. When you have the equation, you have equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation where a is not equal to 0, and the roots of this equation, that is what the solution, roots of this equation or solution of this equation, x equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac, b square minus 4ac. Okay, so divided by 2a. This is the solution. There are two values for quadratic equation. There will be two values or two solutions. Okay, for x here, and now I have quadratic equation time, so I have to substitute the values in this. So time I get. So using the equation or from the equation or solution for the equation t square minus 4t minus 9 equal to 0 I have to get. That is the answer for me. So t equal to minus b. Minus b means here minus 4 is b value. So minus b is minus of minus 4 plus or minus square root of b square. So that is minus 4 square. I write directly 16 minus 4 into a. A coefficient of t square is 1. That is a 1. So a is 1, and then c. C means the last constant term in the quadratic equation. Minus 9 it is. Okay, minus 9. This everything inside the square root symbol divided by 2 into a 1. Okay, now that is 4 plus or minus root of square root of see here minus and minus. Minus 4 into minus 9 plus 36. Plus 36 plus 16. So 16 plus 36, it becomes 52. Okay, divided by 2. Okay, now root 52. You can go for calculator and get the value. Let me do one more step here. Simplification. 4 plus or minus 52 can be written 13 into 4. 13 into 4. 13 into 4 and 4 comes outside the square root is 2. So it is 2 plus or plus or minus 2 root of 13. Okay, 52 can be written as 13 fours and 4 will come outside the square root as it becomes 2. Then it is 2 here. Now cancel. So you get 4 by 2 is 2 plus or minus, and this 2 to 2 cancels, root 13 remains. So these are the two values of time, 2 plus root 13 and 2 minus root 13. So root 13 is more than 3, obviously. You can use calculator and get the number. So 2 plus root 13 value is 3.6. Okay, 3.6 it is. Use calculator, you get 3.6. Now 2 plus or minus root 13, so that is 3.6. Rounded to two significant figures or three figures, you take 3.60 it comes. Now 2 minus 3.6 is minus 1.6. So which is negative value. Time can never be negative here. Remember, in any problems kinematics, if you get time equal to negative one value from quadratic equation solution, you have to reject that answer. That negative value of time is not admissible. It is not permitted. So you have to get only positive value of the time. So therefore t equal to 5.6 second is the correct answer, and so therefore the answer is total time taken by the ball going upward and reaching the bottom of the ground, that is 5.6 seconds from where it is projected and finally it reaches the ground. So y equal to 0, final position is 0. So that's all about this problem. The next problem 7. Two trains are moving in opposite directions. Train A moves north with a speed of 36 kmph and train B moves south with a speed of 54 kmph. What is the relative velocity of B with respect to A, relative velocity of A with respect to B, relative velocity of ground with respect to B? So these three calculations. So I will choose the axis, say x-axis as the direction. In this I will take, and right side I will take as the north direction. Okay, so this side I will take as north, that is the train A moving like this towards north. Okay, so with a velocity, this is train A with a velocity, I will take velocity here. They gave speed 36 kmph. 36 kmph I will take as plus 36, or it is the conversion is there. So velocity of train A VA 36 kmph, when you convert into meter per second, 36, 5 by 18 you can multiply directly, meter per second. So that is 18 ones are 18 twos are 2 fives are 10. That means 36 kilometer per hour. Normally speed in vehicles we measure with the help of speedometer. It is shown in the number or unit called kilometer per hour, kmph or kilometer per hour. So we need the speed all that in meter per second, SI units. So we have to multiply 5 by 18. So how this comes, in previous session I have discussed, 1 kmph converted into meter per second, 1 kilometer per means divided by hour. Okay, so hour, that is 1000 meter divided by 3600 seconds. Okay, cancelling this zeros, we get 10 by 36, again divided by 2 numerator and denominator, 5 by 18. So therefore 1 kilometer per hour is 5 by 18 meter per second. Now velocity of train A, I take velocity of train A. Velocity of train A is towards right as north side I will take. Conventionally in geographics we take up as north, right as east, and down here south, and this is west. But here I will take for convention, for simplicity, x-axis, positive x-axis as north, and left side I will take it as south. This way I will take it as south. And now the second train B moving opposite to train A means, so the direction of motion of the train is towards negative. So velocity of train B now, when you write a velocity you have to put the plus or minus in one dimensions. So velocity of train B equal to VB equal to 54 kmph as given in the question. So that is VB equal to 54 kilometer per hour converted into meter per second, 5 by 18 meter per second. So that is equal to 18 ones are 18 3 times 3 5s are 15 meter per second. I said now train B is moving towards a negative x-axis or south direction, opposite direction. We have chosen this as positive value of velocity. So opposite direction I have to take as negative. So hence it is minus 54. So minus 54. So and meter per second it becomes minus 15 meter per second. So velocity of train B is taken minus 15 meter per second. Now firstly calculation relative velocity. Okay. So relative velocity of B with respect to A. Relative velocity of train B with respect to train A is VBA. So VBA equal to VB minus VA. Always relative velocity of train B with respect to A means first one of what and minus second one is with respect to what. So it is VB, it is a minus 15, then next minus VA is 10. So minus 15 minus 10 is minus 25 meter per second. Minus 25 meter per second. That means the velocity of the train B will be B train, second train here, that is negative, looks negative means for the train A, the train B looks like moving opposite, that is towards the south direction, okay, and it is motion is along south direction, it shows negative sign. Next second part calculation, that is velocity of relative velocity of A with respect to B. So relative velocity of A with respect to B is VAB, okay, VA minus VB. So VA velocity is 10 minus VB, velocity of the train B is taken minus 15. So minus 15, so 10 minus or minus 15, 10 plus 15, so it is 25 meter per second, okay. And lastly relative velocity of ground with respect to B, okay. So relative velocity of ground with respect to B, with respect to the train B it is. So that means VGB, ground I will take the symbol G. So VGB equal to VG minus VB, VG minus VB. So ground stationary, so 0, velocity is 0, from which we are making the observation. So V0 minus 15, okay. So minus 15, that means minus or minus 15 plus 15 meter per second. That means ground velocity is positive. What it says, if you are in a train B moving towards south, and for you it looks like the ground is moving like towards positive direction, that is north, plus velocity means positive x direction, okay. So that means positive velocity, that's what we feel, we see whenever we are moving in a bus, the surrounding looks like going backward, opposite to us, okay. That's all about this relative velocity problem. Now I move on to the next problem, number 8. A body is thrown vertically up from the top of a building with a velocity 10 meter per second. It reaches the ground in 5 seconds. Find the height of the building and the velocity with which the body reaches the ground, okay. So body is thrown from the top of the building, okay, from the top of the building only it is projected with a velocity 10 meter per second, okay. So we have solved similar kind of problems, but the numbers required is different. So from here it is thrown, so it goes like this and it falls to the ground, okay. Finally it comes to the ground. So they said the total time taken is 5 seconds. So here going upward and reaching the ground, total time is 5 seconds for the entire journey, going to the highest point, stopping for a moment and falling downward because of the acceleration downward. So now velocity at this point of projection, velocity at the point of projection, say initial velocity is 10 meter per second. So we can note down the data given in this question. So initial velocity, it is thrown upward from the top of the building. So initial velocity V0 have take plus 10 meter per second, plus thrown upward means plus, and time given is 5 seconds, time t equal to 5 seconds. Then next number given, g value is given at 10 meter per second square, g value. So that means acceleration we can take as A minus G equal to minus 10 meter per second square. Okay. Then next height of the building we have to get. So initial position we have to get. So this is the initial position y naught equal to how much, and the final position y equal to 0. Final position is y equal to 0. Initial position y naught equal to how much? That is the height h I will take. H is the height of the building. So initial position will be h. Y naught will be h if I take the height as h. And final position is ground. So y equal to 0. Okay. Now use the equations. Say here time is given. Okay. Time is given. So final velocity we don't know. We have to find out the final velocity with which the body reaches the ground. So we can solve final velocity, then we can find the height also, or we can directly find the height of the building directly. So initial position is given, just note down. Initial position y naught or y0 is h equal to how much, and final position is the ground. So we can take y equal to 0. Now which equation? Just observe the numbers. V naught is there, time is there, a is there, y naught, y. So that is equation number 2. For vertical motion, equation number 2. That is using the equation y equal to, or y minus y naught also we can write. Y minus y naught equal to v naught t plus half at square, because time is given here. When time is not given, you are supposed to go for the last equation where final velocity you must know. Here final velocity is not given, we have to find out. So either it is first or second. Okay. To find height there is no term in the first equation. To find the height we have to use second or third. To find the final velocity we have to use first or third. So here using the second equation. So now substitute the values. Y is 0, y naught is initial position, h value you have to find out, that is v naught velocity of projection 10, and time for which it is under motion is 5 seconds, then plus half a acceleration is given 10, a value 10, g value 10, so a value is minus 10, then t square is 5 square. Now simplifying, this is minus h equal to 50. Okay, then 10 by 2 is 5, and this 5 into 5 square, 5 into 25, 125. So this becomes 125. That means minus h equal to 50 minus 125 is minus 75. Therefore height of the building is h. Height of building h equal to 75 meter. So compulsorily put the unit at the end of the answer. Okay, last step or whichever quantity is asked in the question, you must put the unit. And final velocity with which it reaches the ground, final velocity is required. So that is the last part. So final velocity on reaching the ground. Okay, final velocity means either first equation or third equation. Here we know the time, we know the initial velocity. Okay, so then we can use the equation v equal to v naught plus at. Substitute the values. V equal to v naught is 10 plus a is minus 10. A is minus 10. Time is 5 seconds. So that is 10 minus 10 into 5 is 50. So minus 50. So that is equal to minus 40 meter per second. This negative sign indicates that the velocity of the body is downward. While coming downward, its velocity is negative. So minus 40 meter per second I get. That means the direction of velocity is negative y-axis or downward direction. So this is all about this problem. Remember, whenever you throw the object upward, take positive, and when the object is dropped from the height, take initial velocity as 0. Now I move on to the last problem here, 9th problem. A ball is dropped from the top of a tower 100 meter high, and at the same time another ball is projected upwards vertically from the ground with a velocity 40 meter per second. When and where the two balls meet, given g value 10 meter per second square. So you read the problems word by word. A ball is dropped from the top of the tower. Okay, so this is the tower here like this. So from the top of the tower a ball is dropped. Okay, so dropped means the initial velocity 0. So for this ball velocity 0, initial velocity 0, and initial height, initial position is there for this. So y naught for the ball which is dropped is 100 plus 100 or 100 meter, because it is dropped from the top of the tower. Okay, now at the same time another ball is projected vertically upward from the ground. Okay, vertically upward means like this, we throw another ball, so which goes like this. This is falling downward. I will take this as A and this one as B. At certain height from the ground, say y equal to h, the two will meet each other. So this is A and the ball thrown upward, say B. They meet each other. So question is when and where. When means after how much time, how long it will take for them to meet. When means, and where means at what height the two balls meet. So that two numbers we have to find out. Okay, so when and where means after how much time they meet each other and at what height they meet each other. So these two numbers we have to calculate. So for this just observe acceleration A, for both of them it will be same. Okay, so acceleration is taken for both of them, it is the same value. So that is A equal to minus G equal to minus 10 meter per second square. So the given data take as it is. If the number G value not given, take always 9.8 meter per second square. Now, so what I take first for the ball dropped. Okay, for the ball dropped from the top. Okay, from the top of the tower. So initial velocity V naught equal to 0, because it is dropped. Car starts from rest, initial velocity 0. Object dropped from certain height, initial velocity 0. So initial velocity 0, initial position is known. Initial position equal to y naught equal to 100 meter, and then final position is same for both of them. Time taken for falling will be t, and time taken by the ball thrown upward also t only. The height equal to t. So we can use the equation number 2. Okay, so final position we have to find out. So final position and time taken we have to calculate in this problem. So final position y equal to h, that is equal to how much? Now for the ball dropped we can use the equations. So connecting all this, the equation is second equation. So y equal to, using the equation y equal to y naught plus v naught t plus half a t square. If I substitute the values here, y final position is h only, y naught is dropped from the top of the tower, so 100. Okay, plus v naught, initial velocity for the dropped object, dropped ball is 0, so 0 into t plus half into a is minus 10 we have to take, minus 10, then t square, which we don't know. So now h equal to 100. Now 0 into t is 0, then half into minus 10 is minus 5. So minus 5 t square. So this I will take as equation 1. Okay, I got some relation between h and t. Now I have to get the relation between h and t, another relation for the ball thrown upward. Okay, so write the data for the ball thrown upward. For the ball thrown upward, so the data given we can write. Initial velocity is 40 meter per second. Initial velocity while projecting upward v naught is 40 meter per second for this thrown upward, that is projected with certain velocity. This is dropped from the top of the tower, so velocities are not same. This is 40 upward plus 40 we have to take obviously. So initial velocity for the ball thrown upward, initial velocity is v naught equal to 40. Okay, then next acceleration is same again, a equal to minus g equal to minus 10 meter per second square. Then initial position is ground, so initial position for this will be taken, y naught is 0. Okay, for the ball thrown upward, initial position is 0, y naught is 0. Then final position is same for both of them I said. So final position h, that is y equal to h, that we have to find out. Time is again same for both of them. What happens? Now substituting in the same equation, using the equation y equal to y naught plus v naught t plus half a t square the same equation we are substituting systematically here. So y final position h, y naught is ground, so 0, but velocity v naught is given here 40 into t, 40 into t plus half a is minus 10 t square. Now simplifying this equation, I get h equal to 0, then 40t, okay, this is 40t, then next 10 by 2 is 5, so minus 5t square. I take this equation as equation number 2. Now the job is to solve the equation 1 and equation 2. Observe carefully, here h is there, h is there. So LH is same means RHS must be same. Therefore, from 1 and 2, okay, from 1 and 2, 40t minus 5t square equal to RHS of second equation I wrote, that should be equal to RHS of first equation. So that is 100 minus 5t square. So now 5t square cancels. So what I get, 40t equal to 100. So t equal to 100 by 40, that is equal to 2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds. Our final position, let me find out. Final position of meeting of the two balls. Of meeting of two balls. Okay, so that meeting of two balls. Okay, so that is equal to y, either from equation 1 or equation 2 will give you the y value, that is y equal to h. Okay, so that is first equation I use, 100 minus 5t square, t is 2.5 square, okay, 2.5 square. Now, so the height h equal to 100 minus 5 into t square is 2.5 square is 6.25. Use calculator, 5 into 6.25, it comes 31.25. So 100 minus 31.25. Okay, so that difference is 68.75 meter. So the answer finally, what we can say, when means after a time 2.5 seconds, the two balls meet at a height, where means at a height 68.75 meter from the ground. So this is the answer. What we need is a time after which they meet is 2.5 second and height at which they meet is 68.75 meter from the ground. Okay, so from the top means it is just 31.25 meter. Okay, so we are telling with respect to ground only. So if the question is specific from the top means we can say how much, but when it is not mentioned, so always say the values with respect to the ground. So this all about the problems, numerical problems in acceleration due to gravity related questions. I discussed motion of car, bus, all that I discussed. Previous two problems I discussed in the previous session, and see that there will be different types of questions. 1 mark question in the first main, you may need to write the answer in 1 word or a sentence, sometimes of reasoning questions. In 2 marks there may be questions like give the statement, define, all that. So in sentence you have to give, and it may be difference type of question, write the two differences between or distinguish between, that kind of questions. So for 1 mark you have to write one difference, left side and right side for 2 quantities, and in 3 marks questions some derivations, small derivations can be asked, and 5 marks derivation type of questions, essay type questions, long answer questions. Obviously one derivation type of question will come from this chapter, either 3 marks or 5 marks, and one problem for the midterm exam, definitely one problem and one 5 marks question expected here. And last 5 marks section, these problems, any type of problem, whether vertical motion or horizontal motion, so you have to see the data given first, and which formula is the relevant one, use the formula, substitute the value systematically in SI unit, then after finding, simplifying neatly one by one step, and finally get the answer and put the unit. Don't forget to put the unit for the last answer which is asked. So that's all about this session. I hope you understood all the topics, various things I discussed in these 6 sessions. Thank you for watching.